Hello, hi there. So I would like to reflect and possibly explore with you this whole question, I guess, of the new year, which we are now 2.5 weeks or so into 2016. Happy birthday to 2016. And what do we need? So what is really necessary, if anything, about a new year, which comes around, doesn't it, every 12 months to be exact. And with that comes this sort of wave of freshness, new year, enthusiasm, resolutions, and then also comes the opposite of that, which is sort of maybe disillusionment, disappointment, failure, a sense of overwhelm, if these things weren't already there to begin with. Often this is what I find working in this area with people, is that often when we explore the resolutions, the goals, the plans, the projects, often when there is a sense of stress and so on in it, and a sense of impending failure and fear of that, is a sense of maybe overwhelmed to begin with, and almost this assumption that I need to be doing ABC, the diet, the fitness regime, whatever it might be, but I need to be doing that, otherwise I'm going to miss out. Everybody else is doing it, or other people have a better, more fulfilled, happier life than me, and therefore I need to get on some program towards, I need to get on this train to perfection somewhere down the road, some more perfect, at least, version of me. So yeah, what if we're just to reflect on this, as I have been doing with clients, mostly one-to-one this year so far. With one client, just 5 days into the new year, he had this sort of agitated sense of need to make things happen, need to get on some program, need to do. And I said, right, okay, great. Nothing wrong with this enthusiasm, resolve, wanting to achieve things, fantastic. Great. But to begin with, let's sit back, see where we're leaving from. Because if you're going on any journey, you might do well to be clear on where you're leaving off from, and whether you're going in the right direction, therefore. So I asked him then, how old is 2016? And he said 5 days old. So the question came to mind to ask then, okay, would we be happy to put this sense of pressure on a 5-day-old, not even a 5-year-old, a 5-day-old child? Of course not. The answer was, of course not. We wouldn't do that. And so then we reflected, why would we do that on ourselves? Why do we put ourselves under pressure to get somewhere, to achieve something in the future? And working with many people with this, it's always the same. It's a sense of lack that we don't really look at. We sort of depart from that without really being there to begin with, to see if that's a firm place from which to take off from, or explore from, or play from. And so we looked into that, and yes, there's shame, there's a sense of guilt, there's a sense of unworthiness, which isn't unique to anyone, but yet sometimes that's what drives this side of, I'm going to call it, pendulum, drives us towards drives the pendulum to go to this side, which I'm going to call effort, right? Making a lot of effort and me, trying to make it happen, and trying to make my life, my little insecure, fragile, insufficient life match up to some ideal that seems other people out there match up to, whoever they might be, sports stars, celebrities, and so on. Whoever they might be that appear to match up to that, then we feel like, if only I could somehow make my life through some strategy or program or regime match up to this picture ideal, then I'll have made it. I'll have got there. Then there's the other end of the pendulum, which, as you might know with pendulums, if we're going to be at this swinging right out here, you're going to need to swing to this other end of the pendulum sooner or later, right? Now, most people, they will oscillate in between. We might look at that and explore that. But on the other end of the pendulum, what is that? Well, if this end is lots and lots of effort and trying and all sort of me, the other end of the pendulum is going to be not trying at all. And of course, we hear that as well, don't we? People, New Year's resolutions, why bother? Just live in the moment and go with the flow, effortlessness, yeah. Go with and so you go with go with the group, as it were, go with the crowd. And that's another form of extreme too, really, isn't it? Because there isn't anything wrong with your individual direction, your plans, your journey, your path, creating your life. All these ideas are great, are wonderful in themselves. So maybe get an appreciation for the two sense of extremes here. And then you get a bunch of people somewhere in the middle. And so that might be you, somewhere in the middle, sort of unsure, should I be setting resolutions at all? Am I missing out by not setting them, by not having them? Is there some program that I need to be on? So the kind of people I work with, really, find themselves maybe a little bit torn, unsure, but sometimes it's a great place to be, because then you're ready to explore this whole almost unexplored possibility of yourself, because you're in the middle between these two possible extremes. It could be, and you might find that sort of you're oscillating, wavering between them. Should I go with the flow? Should I try? And then you end up probably doing both, oscillating between them. Yo-yo dieting would be, I suppose, one example of this, where there's a lot of effort and then you let it all go, and then you go back to your diet, and then you let it all go again. Yo-yoing. So it's sort of a similar phenomenon, which can express in many ways, and even through addiction. You have your alcohol, but it can be anything. Eating, entertainment can be an addiction, and just stimulus, really. This sort of drive, need for constant stimulus to have a sense of me. Now, to let that be as it is, without a need for addiction, without a neediness around all of the wonderful things that we can be doing in life, what's that like? Well, that opens the possibility, and as I said, these are the kind of people I tend to work with, where it's like we're getting closer to ourselves, to this possibility of, once we become more comfortable with me as I am, without any labels of how other people may see us, of how we might have been perceived in the past, of who we think we are, in terms of all the particularities and the personality just becoming more comfortable, yes, within our own skin, with ourselves. We're tapping into our very own energy. This is beyond the carrot and the stick sorts of ideas of motivation, beyond being motivated by externals only. Self-motivation, knowing ourselves, being comfortable with ourselves, just, I suppose, like a butterfly has the two wings, so we can open up to the possibility, once we sort of become comfortable, as the word I'm using, comfortable in yourself, grounded, if you like, settled, more at ease within your own being, including your body and your mind, however that is, however you experience it, and allowing yourself just to have whatever experience you're having without this need to get another experience beyond the one you're having. Two wings of the butterfly. The butterfly can only fly with both wings together, isn't that right? So the pendulum idea almost is like with the butterfly, just one wing flapping, so it's trying really hard, and in order to fly at all, you're going to have to try really hard with one wing. Just one wing, you're going to have to try really hard either way. With both wings together, so let's say the group energy, being part of a group, feeling group support, feeling connected with life, fundamentally, with humanity, with others in a very local scale also. And then knowing yourself, feeling deep connection, being true to yourself at the same time. That's the two wings. That's the two wings. And that's when you can really soar eventually, just by being yourself. So all of this is just being yourself. Just being yourself, really. Engaging with this play of life, that you don't really need to choose one or the other, or swing between them, or oscillate. That just by being still, being yourself, it's all open and it's available now. It's a sort of a key idea that's coming through here for me, that all of this is available now, not somewhere in the future, not in some perfected state, or in some perfect set of circumstances, or some perfect amount of figures on your bank balance sheet, or car, or group of friends, or whatever it may be. We're all human, so we're all going to have some kind of life situation or other. And so being comfortable with that, letting just all that be, it's neither good nor bad, nor inferior nor superior. It is as it is. And there's always aspects to appreciate no matter what life situation we have. So I hope some of this was helpful to help you explore and reflect on where you are at the moment and what's happening or not happening, as the case may be, in your life. And for me this year, 2016, my sort of, call it resolution, my intention, certainly this year, what really makes sense to me is to be more humble with my strengths, which we all have those strengths, but to be more humble with those, and to be more patient and, where possible, humorous with my weaknesses. And we all have those too, many of which, by the way, we share, don't we, with others. And this often is the irony, that the weaknesses, the things we consider to be our drawbacks, our weaknesses, our downsides, and we fear that they separate us from others, often, in fact, aren't they the things that really connect us with others? We share very many of our weaknesses, not often our strengths, but certainly very many of our weaknesses with others, and that can be a way to connect, to open, to become, to receive more support in your life, and to welcome in a sense of, rather than contraction, which often is a fear response to, oh, my weaknesses, my shadow, my dark side, and we contract around those. But it's so wonderful, it's such a miracle when, you know, people realize this, that what we call weaknesses, they're just this doorway, this gateway into deeper connection, inviting more space as well as support into our lives. So practically as well for me, it's continuing my yoga practice, which I'm finding a fantastic support last year, so I'll continue this year, and Tai Chi as well, and just what you might call sort of particular micro areas of life: eating, walking, connecting with people, my role as a coach, which I absolutely love. It's more of a love than a role. Just savoring every little dimension of my life, finding that vast energy, spaciousness, and wonder in all of the little so-called small areas of life. So wellness and peace and all of that is to be found. It's such mystery also, contained in all of the areas, even the areas that we feel that we know and have control over. So that's my life this year, and I hope, as I've said, this has been helpful for you to reflect. So feel free to let me know if it has, or even if it hasn't. Feel free to let me know either way by leaving a comment, and so on. And happy birthday to 2016, 2.5 weeks in. You can say that still, happy birthday. And may this year unfold for you in a really beautiful, supportive, and deeply fulfilling way.